Background player, the forefront player to most of the points made on my Lightborn video. Hello everyone, I'm Snoopy Fox, and today I just want to talk about this perk. Is background player too strong? I'm not actually sure of my own opinion on this one, but one thing my Lightborn video showed me, a lot of different people mentioned Flashbang with background player as to why they use Lightborn. I still believe Lightborn is a bad perk, but that's besides the point. People are using Lightborn as a cure for a symptom, not the issue. I didn't give background player the attention it deserved in that video, so I'm going to change that here hopefully. For those unaware, background player is an exhaustion perk with the following effect. When another survivor is picked up by the killer, background player activates for the next 10 seconds. When you start running, break into a sprint at 200% of your normal running speed for 5 seconds. Background player causes the exhaustion status effects for 60, 50, 40 seconds. This can result in the survivor being able to near cross map in a very short amount of time. This is where I got a lot of feedback, because in my Lightborn video, I mentioned about scaring survivors off from potential saves. Background player actually makes this impossible to do. It's fine for flashlights, kind of, as flashlights in general are much easier to deal with even with that insane speed. They still need to be in a relatively good position and don't have an awful lot of time to actually get that flashlight save. They still need to angle it correctly, which means you can still avoid the blind. The thing is, Flashbang doesn't need that position. Flashbang itself has existed in the game since the first Resident Evil chapter, and firecrackers predate even that, and they do the exact same thing. The only difference with the firecracker is that it's a physical item that you have to take into the trial. You only get the one. Just in case anyone isn't aware what Flashbang does, after repairing a generator for a total of 70, 60, 50%, Flashbang activates. Enter any locker and press the ability button to craft a flash grenade. So it's easy to see how the simplicity of Flashbang and the insane speed of background player is where people were coming from. This combination of perks only has one true counter: Lightborn. Something else I did mention in the Lightborn video is positioning. You can kind of position yourself sometimes to be able to avoid a flashbang, or make it so that the survivor just physically cannot get to you. At least not the angle they need. But this is not a reliable counter. That said, I don't think Lightborn is either. Lightborn will protect you entirely, sure, but it's actually not possible to know if a survivor is running flashbang and background player. So, do you risk it? Is the perk slot worth the risk? Should the killer even be put in the position where they cannot do anything about this unless they hit the Lightborn lottery? All this really showed me is that background player is kinda stupid. No perk or perk combination should ever have no counterplay unless you just got lucky with your own perks. And this isn't just one survivor having a strong perk set out. All 4 can have this. Let me introduce another perk combination that gathered some attention a while back. Buckle Up and For the People. Buckle Up's effect is, unlocks potential in your aura reading ability. Whenever you finish the healing action on another survivor from the dying state to the injured state, Buckle Up applies its effects for the next 6, 8, 10 seconds. Grants both you and the healed survivor the endurance status effect. The aura of the killer is revealed to you both. And For the People. While healthy and healing another survivor without a medkit, press the active ability button to activate For the People. Trades 1 health state with that survivor. Instantly heals them to the injured state if they are dying or suffering from deep wounds. Instantly heals them to full health if they were injured. You yourself become injured and suffer from the broken status effect for the next 80, 70, 60 seconds. You become the killer's obsession. This perk combination sucks too, and you can absolutely lose games to this. Down a survivor around a window or across a pallet and their teammate sprint bursts in and suddenly they're back up again. You now have to pray for the next 10 seconds they do not find a strong loot, or you lose it down. Why am I bringing this up? Because it also has the same kind of effect that background player and flashbang do. It's just maybe not quite as strong. The scary thing is, a survivor can absolutely go into a trial with background player, flashbang, buckle up, For the People. Losing sprint burst on buckle up and For the People will make that a little bit weaker, but it's still an option. Even if you bring Lightborn, this threat still exists. Or you could run into a pre-made 4-man survive with friends, and 2 of them could have flashbang, 2 of them could have For the People and buckle up. Now you're versing a whole team that is dedicated to making sure you can never pick anyone up, and they have 2 different ways to do it, and they're both at their strongest for doing it. So here's the real underlying issue. Should survivors have perk options that can prevent the killer from even being able to pick up a survivor and progress in their own objective? Truth be told, I don't know. Buckle Up and For the People isn't ran that often in my games, and neither is Background Player and Flashbang. I have never actually seen a combination of them, either on the same survivor, or to different survivors running different setups. But the thought of it does make me shudder. They cannot technically do this all the time, there is only a finite amount of flashbangs that they can craft, but they can prevent pickups so easily with them that by the time this even comes close to losing, the gates are already powered. This is just a theory in my head though. I really do not see any of this that often, and I play 30 to 40 hours of Killer a week. It's one of those, it can be an issue, but is it really? Does it happen that often? Maybe I'm lucky. I can't imagine my MMR is that low due to the nature of me being a streamer. It does happen, and I have lost games to a blind save from someone with Background Player. I won't deny it, but I just can't say definitively if Background Player itself needs a nerf or not. I've also won games due to getting in big pain res at the last generator. I've won games due to Blood Warden by physically opening the exit gate myself and then hucking a survivor. I can anecdotally make the argument for any perk that can prevent the objective of the other side. Blood Warden, Pain Res, Pop Goes the Weasel, Hex No One Escapes Death, Hex Devour Hope, Decisive Strike, For the People, Deliverance. Some of these are stretching it, but they can win a game on their own, the same way a Flashbang can. It's just way more obvious when Flashbang wins a game because the killer had to put in effort, and a lot of effort sometimes, to chase down a survivor just to have that all reverted from a single perk combination of someone running in at Mach 10 and just saving them out of nowhere, and you had no idea there was even a round. The only difference here is that there's 4 survivors that can potentially do this versus the 1 killer. No one can argue at this point that the killer role is more focus intensive and more punishing on your mistakes. I do think the speed is probably too much on Background Player, and it's only an exhaustion perk just to give it some semblance of balance, preventing survivors from running other exhaustion perks with it. Because a killer is rarely ever going to get 2 downs within 40 seconds, the exhaustion just doesn't matter. The real bottleneck is the Flashbang, which you can circumvent with a flashlight or even a Sabo toolbox, or hell, just even a pallet. But honestly, I think I'm just going to leave the discussion here, because I believe it's getting too much into what could happen versus what actually happens. But please, let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Background Player and its potential with other perks to create easy saves? Is it too strong? Is it fine as it is? Am I talking out of my tail end? Until next time, take care of each other, and be safe. Goodbye for now.